Hi, my name is Emilee Crapo. I will be sharing my second career profile today, that of being a school counselor. I was fortunate enough to go to my daughter's high school and interview not one but two of her counselors, which I found to be very informative and helpful for me. Their names are Fred Woolley and Bryce Owen. Fred is the academic counselor for the high school, and Bryce Owen is the district-wide counselor. And so Fred is based out of the high school. That's where his office is, and that is where he spends his time. And Bryce, his office is in the high school, but he works in all four schools within the district. Um, Typical stressors. Fred talked again and again about how he struggles with his workload. He does rely on interns in order to be able to get everything done. He specifically chose to not be a licensed counselor because he was not interested in working after hours, evenings, weekends, holidays, things like that. Whereas Bryce Owen chose to become a licensed counselor because he doesn't mind spending occasional evenings, weekends, or holidays counseling and helping the students and their families if a need arises. Um, Typical benefits. I recently found out that the Sugar-Salem School District is known for having one of the best benefit packages in all of the school districts in the state of Idaho. It includes medical insurance as well as a retirement package. And both of the counselors felt that the best benefit for their career is the schedule. They never are required to work nights, weekends, holidays, and from June 10th till around August 20th, they are off work. So they have a lot of family time. And their hours each day that they need to be in the schools are from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., which they both said that they really enjoyed. Common job tasks for Fred. He spends most of his time doing administrative type things. He's responsible to monitor graduation progress for all of the students in the high school and to also monitor any student who is failing one or more classes. And he does rely on the interns to help with these things, and they meet with the students individually and set goals to help them progress and to get better grades. He is the contact person for colleges and scholarships. He attends training at least once a year. He is responsible for the paperwork for all of the monitoring that they do among the students. He supervises his interns. He also works on special projects such as Career Day or College Application Week. There are various different things that he does with that. Fred spends a minimal amount of his time actually counseling the students, whereas Mr. Owen is opposite. He spends only about 10% of his time on administrative duties, and he spends the remainder of his time counseling the students one-on-one. And another thing too is that Mr. Owen is he works to maintain their dual credit classes and their advanced placement class program. So he's the contact person with that, and the district is actually in a consortium with 4 other local schools, and they use virtual classrooms through CSI to offer those additional classes for students. Another thing that Mr. Owen has recently implemented this year is an advising program, and as counselors they develop a set of curriculum for the teachers to sit down with the students in group or even classroom settings, and they do teamwork activities. They advise students as far as education, career path, goal setting, and study habits, many different things that are applicable to the kids. As far as educational requirements, Fred earned his bachelor's degree in psychology, and then he also earned a master's in psychology with an emphasis in school counseling. And Bryce earned his bachelor's in human development, and then he earned his master of counseling. And so they took very different education paths to end up in relatively similar jobs. Their salary range is from $35,000 to $40,000 a year, and this varies hugely across the U.S. I found on U.S. News that some of the counselors in the U.S. make as much as $90,000 a year, and there are some that only make $32,000 a year. So you can see in our rural area here in Idaho that the counselors are definitely on the lower end of the pay scale. As far as miscellaneous career information, I did think it was interesting to take that there are so many different educational paths to end up as school counselors. And also Mr. Owen gave me some really good advice, and he suggested becoming a licensed counselor because it is a higher pay rate and it is a much more marketable degree in his opinion and more versatile. So I felt like that was really good information. Thanks.